Good afternoon, fellas. Welcome back to Steve Jackson's Sorcery. We're on the final part. Okay, very epic, very nice. For this part, I don't want to spend like 3 streams exclusively playing it. Like we did with part 3. Part 3, we took way too long to complete it. But for this one, I'm gonna see if I can reasonably get it done within 1 to 2 streams. Like 3 to 4 hours each for each stream, right? Hopefully we can. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I'm chilling though. I'm chilling. Just been vibing recently. But yeah, so we left off with like, we couldn't find the last serpent. I think it was the sun serpent. The dude was just nowhere to be seen, right? So we're kind of stuck there. We might be fucked going into this. But hey, so be it. So be it. What else? We have like a backup sword, which is a lot better than our current sword, and we hopefully might see flanker again. But we spent 30 in-game days. 30 in-game days playing Sorcery 3, which is far too much. I did some reading on Sorcery 3 when I got back. You're supposed to spend like the optimal one is like 9. I didn't like read how any of this influences it, but like I had sorted through like a Reddit comment or something, and it's like, yeah, no, like the game's supposed to be completed in like 9 days max. And I'm like, huh? What? So all of the backtracking we did, like we must have like almost gotten every encounter that we can, save like 1 or 2. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So I'm going to take Sorcery 4 in stride. I'm not going to like, is that the right term? Point is, I'm not going to like really try to get the most out of the game, because I do want to like replay it and see how everything might change, you know? But yeah. That being said, let's jump into it, man. Now I realize there's no audio right now. I'm gonna see if that's a game issue, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not. I think our name was Hecta. Oh. Hold on. You're gonna see my desktop, but this game does not... I cannot capture this game in window capture. I cannot capture this game in game capture. So I must do like a full screen capture. It is bizarre. It might be an OBS thing. In fact, it probably is. But just thought I'd put that out there. Okay, let me see. Wavelength game. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Hecta. All right. Hecita. I don't know how to pronounce this shit. Let's just fucking go. Let's go. Okay. All right, you've defeated 6 of the 7 serpents, acquired Flanker's sword, and saved goblins from the... and saved care from the marsh goblins. All right, let's go. There is a legend. Long ago, or so they say, the ancient world was prosperous and free. From the Kakabad Sea to Lake Lumle, harvests were plentiful. People were happy. All was at peace. Even the thundering skies were calm, tamed by the arts of the sorceresses of Mampang. And then, everything changed. A fearsome sorcerer leveled the cities and turned the fields to dust with towers of devastating light. He heard no plea. Cutting down village after village, the mages scrabbled to defend the ancient world, but they were weak. Finally, the last archmage sealed the walls of Mampang and sent out 7 deadly serpents to keep the dark sorcerer away. They failed. And now, here you are, climbing the narrow pass into the mountains of High Zaman. The price of your journey across the Backlands has already been paid. Now, the Anoland is coming to Mampang. And nothing will be allowed to stand in his path. The crown will be yours. Kind of fire. Let's see. Steve Jackson's Sorcery. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Part 4, The Crown of Kings. All right, let's see here. Oh, my. There is not much. There's this way off. There's this way off. And there's a little ring down here. The Argbad Crater. Curious. Oh, nice. We got like little wheat fields. Ah, that's not enough wheat to make food for everyone. What's up with that? How are they surviving off that little wheat? This is like 3 stacks max, okay? How are you surviving off of like 192 stacks of, or pieces of wheat? It's not a lot of bread, man. Dude, we got some goofy shit, though. The boss is in here. That's gonna suck. Okay, anyway. The wind picks up everything as the evening draws on. It'll be night soon. You climb an ancient staircase worn to almost nothing by the years. Let's take a look at the steps. Long ago, these steps were etched with messages, warnings, and words of advice and succor to the acolytes making pilgrimage to the fortress. But they've long since been scrubbed away by dust, and the remaining marks tell you nothing. Check my provisions, my brother in Christ. We have a 0. You do not need to open your pack to check your provisions. You have nothing. But at least you have 2 portions of raw fish, which will be edible if you can find a way to cook them. In the distance, black smoke curls upwards. Check my sword. At least you have your blade. You draw your assassin's sword an inch from its scabbard, its edge flashing in the dying sunlight. It's a fine, strong weapon. You are well armed for whatever terrors lie ahead. Pulling up your hood against the chill air, you stride onwards through the falling sunlight. You must not linger out here. You reflect your progress. My tongue slipped. Whoopsies. I've got a different energy about me right now. I don't know what it is. You reflect your progress with a heavy heart as you climb. The Backlands were a cursed place, and your journey across them was too slow. The serpent's message must have reached their master by now. I don't think so. You stride quickly up, or you stride quickly on the up. What the fuck is this line? You stride quickly on up the winding stairs. Okay, it's my brain fucking up. It's not the line. You stride quickly up. My brain is severely messing up right now. You stride on... What the fuck, man? Okay. You stride quickly on up the winding stairs. See, I got it eventually. All right. The sun is sinking and the sky is turning bruise purple. Soon it will be dark once more. The Zanzunu peaks rise on either side like jagged teeth. The path winds back and forth as it climbs, and glimpses of the brooding horror of Mampang come and go. You should make progress while there's still plenty of light. I can sing as I climb? I don't know about that. I'm gonna watch the skies. I don't want any birdmen coming after me. You watch the skies and, as you climb, staying alert for the signs of the fearsome birdmen that patrol the peaks, the eyes and ears of the Archmage. Rough undergrowth springs up, lining the path on either side. This is an ambush. Where there's bushes, there are ambushes. Let's hit that sus, man. You cast the spell and a familiar, calm voice begins to speak with you, or speak to you. There is a little danger here, the voice informs you. Except a nesting spikehawk. Or there is little danger here, the voice informs you, except a nesting spikehawk in the bushes. But up ahead, there is somewhat more danger. With that, the voice fades. We could probably steal this bitch's eggs, right? The spikehawk. Perhaps one of the acolytes who climb... Is that how you pronounce it? Acolyte? Looking it up right now. Acolyte.
Acolyte.
Yeah. I was right. I have to say it like Google. Acolyte. Acolyte. All right. Perhaps one of the acolytes who climbed this way years ago dropped something of use. You pause and push back the undergrowth with the blade of your sword. And then... Oh, sorry. And then jump as you disturb a nesting spikehawk. The creature flaps in alarm. Walk back. You step back from the bird onto the path. The creature howls and screams at you, opening its wings as wide as it can, but does not attack. Ahead, the stairs curve away out of sight. You can see nothing of what lies around the next corner. You resume the climb up the endless stairs. Uh-oh. There are caves. That means there are giants. I don't like that. The sun has almost set, and the sky is a deep pink. You reach the top of the stairs. Rounding the corner, you find 3 cave mouths set into the rock. Let's look at them. You regard the caves with interest. The middle cave has the smallest entrance and probably opens into a niche and nothing more. The nearest cave would be large enough for a fire, but looks deep enough to contain any number of nasty surprises. A series of hoof prints lead into the mouth of the furthest cave. Hoof prints, you say? You take a closer look at the hoof prints. They are deep enough to suggest a largish creature, but they are no longer fresh. They are at least a few days old. You also note there are no prints coming out of the cave. Uh-oh. Let's hit that sus again. Let's hit a how. Looking to the stars, you craft the magic. A quiet voice enters your mind. Every cave has its dangers. The smallest cave requires courage, the largest brawn. But what the third cave requires, you never find out, as the spell fades once more. Let's enter a cave. All right. Let's see. The smallest cave requires courage, the largest brawn. Wait, hold on. Let's just make sure this isn't some type of weird. Every cave has its dangers. Okay. Shallow cave. Outside, night has fallen. You approach the smallest cave mouth and kneel down to peer inside. You might be able to crawl inside, but it would be a tight squeeze. I could yap. Do I just not have a... But you might be able to crawl inside, but it would be a tight squeeze. Let me call inside. You call a wordless greeting into the mouth of the cave, listening for the echo, ready to react should you disturb any creatures. Nothing stirs. As your eyes adjust to the darkness within, you can see that beyond the entrance, the space opens out somewhat. Let's crawl inside. Moving quickly, you crawl into the mouth of the cave. You're barely through the entrance of the cave when a terrible howling noise booms around the tiny chamber. Okay, you could use the tinderbox to make a spark. You change your mind and put the tinderbox away once more. Requires courage. So let's wait. You wait a moment, and slowly your eyes adjust to the dark. But you can still see nothing in the chamber. Then a tiny creature brushes your leg. The thing is a jib-jib, no more dangerous than an overgrown mouse. Dude, look at the guy. He's kind of grotesque, but like other than that, he's kind of a vibe. I'm gonna look at it. Covered in fur and no larger than a bomba fruit, it stands on two duck-like feet. Its body must be mostly lungs, as despite its size, when it howls it makes a noise like a horn. I'm gonna leave it alone. You leave the creature. It howls a few more times, but is beginning to realize that you are not afraid. A moment later, it scurries away into the darkness outside to hide somewhere else. The cave appears otherwise empty. This should prove an excellent place to rest. Hell yeah. Let's sleep here. Okay, let's drink a blimberry. You lie down, pushing the pack underneath your head. There's just enough space to stretch out, facing the door in case anything should approach. You have not eaten today, but you have no provisions, only 2 vials of blimberry juice. Drink a blimberry. Unstoppering a vial of blimberry potion, you gulp down a mouthful and feel a little better. And all traces of hunger are soon gone. Then you close your eyes and let the tiredness overtake you. You feel quite safe here, and you do not dream. Inside the shallow cave, during the past day, you explored the caves of High Zaman and began your ascent into the mountains. The Archmage is waiting for you. You wake to find the cave darker than before, not lighter. Something's blocking the entrance then. You open your arms to search for starlight, but find nothing. It would seem that you're too far below the ground for magic to reach. You look around, but the darkness does not resolve. Solid rock seems to float mere inches from your face. Where are you? And to feel the walls. You reach out, taking a step before your fingers reach the rock wall of the pit. Then, step by step, you make your way around, drawing out a full circle. Overnight, the cave is sealed up, and you're now enclosed by solid rock. All right. Feel underfoot. You reach down to the floor. It feels like loose gravel, fine dust and small stones. You skim your hand through them and feel a slight shifting under your weight. I'm going to dig at the stony ground. You dig a little into the ground and the whole surface moves a little way lower, gravel and sand bouncing as it sinks. Jump on it. Uh-oh. Moving to the very middle of the chamber, you gather your energy, then you jump. The effect is immediate. The stones below you shift, slide, slip to one side, and a moment later, the ground gives way completely, collapsing in a rush. You sucked our way downwards. It's the line, not me. Falling! There is no stopping your fall. You plummet, then suddenly you're in daylight. Okay. You emerge into the sunlight through a narrow, rocky opening. Then, half stumble, half scramble down to the ground. You're at the bottom of a deep ravine, a distant ledge impossibly high above you. It would seem there's no way back up. Look back up at the opening. The opening down which you tumbled does not appear to have been a deliberate trap, just a gully in the stone that had filled with small rocks and scree over the years. These stones are now spread across the valley floor. All right. You search through the dust, but find nothing but the occasional rat bone. I'm going to take that stone dust. Give me that. You gather a few scoops of stone dust. It may come in handy for spell casting. Then it's time to move on. The valley heads in one direction. You begin to make your way along and gently upwards. A fleeting shadow passes overhead. Hide! You duck quickly out of sight and fear that the birdmen patrol these skies. The shadow passes away and you emerge back on the path. There is an unshakable gloom about this place. A few birds are singing thin and miserable songs. You climb gently up the stony ravine. High overhead, something cuts across the ravine, throwing a pool of shadow onto the ground. You look up at the shadow overhead, shielding your eyes from the sun. It's a rope bridge, running from one side of the ravine to another. It might have been a way to cut out a whole loop of the path, but now it's merely a landmark to orient yourself by. as you cannot hope to reach it. You pass under the bridge. Where am I going to end up at? Oh my god. Yeah, this ain't too good, Chief. Oh wait, no, there we are. Boop, boop. You continue along the valley. The air stirs a little, still cold, but fresh at least. The grass here grows long and thick. Bits of rubble lie scattered amongst the greenery. The path leads away down the valley, following a line of a gathering stream, with a medium-sized lake visible just on the edge of sight. A pleasant verdant stretch of land, the first you have seen out here. But there's no one living here, no one farming or setting up their home. Clearly, the shadow of Mampang is long and cruel. There is only one way to go from here, and that's further up the valley, in the hope of finding a way to climb the slope. You continue into the greenery of the valley, sweating under your pack, head low. But as you wind around a bend, a voice like a gravel calls out. Halt. Stopping? You stop in your tracks, and a rock strikes you in the temple. Did I listen to you? I stopped. Looking sharply up, you see two creatures, each half human, half goat, perched against the southern slope, spears held ready. My brother in Christ. What is your business? One demands. I mean you no harm. You call back. One laughs. We will be the judge of that. The other snarls. You have trespassed here, traveler. We are the Hoofborn, and we will protect our home from outsiders. Where are you traveling? I intended no offense, you cry back. The guard scratches at the ground with her hoof. I doubt that. Oh, it's... okay. They do have tits, right. Okay. I can't do a woman voice, so I'm just going to continue. I doubt that, but I am no expert on the customs of others. The creature nods. But, where are you from? You take a moment to prepare a reply. Are these creatures of the servant of the Archmage, or are they his enemies? From Care, off to sell goods in Mampang. You're going to Mampang, she hisses, to profit off its misery. It is not what you think. A weak answer, the creature replies. We are an isolated people, and even we have honor, unlike yourself as it seems. There is no honor in accosting strangers. These lands are ours, and we there is no place... Wait, what? These lands are ours, and there is no place for you here. Enraged, the Hoofborn gives a scratching yell and raises their spears, ready to throw. Perched above you, they have the clearest of advantages. We Hoofborn never miss. I think the best counter is fuck you wall, you know? You bind the starlight into shape around you, throwing up an invisible barrier in front of you. Not a moment too soon, the Hoofborn spears fly through the air, but bounce off the barrier. You are safe for now. You race up the bend and arrive back on the main path. You hear clattering hoofs as the hoofborn retreat upslope, no doubt preparing themselves should you be foolish enough to try climbing up their position. You are left alone once more. Okay. The valley continues in both directions and a track leads upwards. I think taking the path east is a poor idea. I think the best option is trying to go up here. We could check out what this is. Oh my, and we have to pick like a good entry point into Mampang. See, it looks like there's a fair amount of ruins, like ruined portions of Mampang. I think the best bet's either going to be this side door or trying to make it over here. Because if we get into here, then we can do some tomfoolery, right? It's like a little vineyard. Okay, all right. So here's what we'll do. Right? There's something here, probably like a watch post or something. I don't trust this at all. I want to skirt around the side. So we go here, skirt around the side. Up here, try to enter through here. I think that's the best plan. So let's go upwards. You climb the path, which soon steepens. You need to keep climbing, or you need to keep one hand on the rock wall to keep steady. It climbs, then sharply turns up the mountain. You keep climbing, vaulting boulders and grabbing tree roots. Up ahead, you make out the top of a stone tower. A few clouds move across the heavens. The path crests a rise as you climb. A tower sits a short distance off the path. It appears to be in ruins. Let's look at it. The tower is familiar, built to a similar design as the ones you saw in the Backlands, but this one has fallen into semi-ruin. The entire top half is missing as though struck by a blade. Approach the tower. As you move towards the tower entrance, a shadow falls across the doorway. The shape is swooped and is hideous. It would seem this place is home to a troll. It has not yet noticed you. I'm going to approach it. You march over, and the troll's eyes snap up to meet yours. Then he lumbers out into the daylight. Let's gauge how schluded he is. He stands at least a head taller than you, and his shoulders fill the exit. The troll roars and bangs his massive sword against the shield, large enough to squash you. He is a ferocious enemy of incredible strength. All right. Let's try to like talk to animals. We do not have yap. Okay, that's a slight issue. What does Raz do? Okay, sharpens blade, right? Can't cause stupidity. I could just blow him up. I could just say, fuck you. Fuck it. We're giving this man clinical depression, right? He's gonna have to be on fucking, I can't think of any antidepressants, but fuck it. He's gonna have to, like, get a therapist. He's gonna have to, like, he's gonna have to go through the whole process of getting antidepressants, okay? Let's go. You weave the enchantment, and the sluggish troll slows down even more. He should be easier to fight now. Sword. 15? Oh, hell nah. Hold on. Griller. Give me that. Thank you. All right. Full send. All right. You draw the assassin's sword from your belt as the troll approaches, and you set your stance. You close your eyes and raise a prayer to the gorilla. The troll slopes forward. Finding you has sent him into a despairing rage. He starts to weep openly as he hurls forward. You raise your own sword, ready to meet him with a brutal attack, and you knock him to the floor. His shield comes up. You drop into a defensive stance. The troll circles around you, his shield high. He narrows his eyes. Boop. Damn it. He stops to brush tears from his eyes, and you seize the moment to strike and attack with precision and strength. He reacts the best he can muster, ducking. You knock chips from his shield. The troll begins wailing and shouting. Sideswipe. Uh-oh. Then he catches you off guard. As you slice your blade around in a wide arc, leaving yourself open. But the troll whines and moans in reply, and swings for your neck. You stagger backwards, clutching at the bleeding wound. He shifts his grip on his sword. You drop back as the troll swings with great force. You parry in a flash of sparks. You adjust your grip and square your shoulders. He stampers back. Defend again. You keep your guard up as the troll makes light work. You knock it away. You watch his eyes carefully for his next move. He shifts his clutch on his mean sword. You spy an opening and go on the attack, and rear back and bring your blade down on his head. His own miserable blow is knocked away. The troll is stumbling, his weary old muscles leaking green blood. The troll shifts his hold on his sword. Cut. You keep up the pressure, turning your sword, you punch with the hilt. As he reels, you lash out with your blade. You catch him beneath his own raised blade. The troll's shield twitches. You shift into a crouch. The troll cowers behind his shield. He looks down at the ground. You hold your blade raised. The troll paces about you, stamping and clawing at the ground. He starts yelling and cursing at you. Full send, baby. You seize the moment to strike and swing with terrible might. His own half-hearted swing is knocked away. The troll stamps to the ground and curses in unknown tongue. The troll shifts his grip on his vicious sword. You batter at his blade. You thrust, making swift progress against the dirt towards him. You swing, spinning on the ground, and the last cut slices through the troll's neck. Yippee! You get to your feet and gather your wits. The troll is quite dead. Really? No, I couldn't tell. It's almost like we fucking chopped his head off. Oh, we didn't. We just sliced his neck, but tomato, right? You quickly search the troll's body, finding nothing but a charm around his neck. A goblin's tooth, strung onto a string. Yippee! Give me that. You tug the tooth away, snapping the string. The path continues in both directions, and the tower is open to you. Let's see the tower. You step between the fallen blocks of the ruined tower. It stinks. Let's search around. You search around the ruins and come across something black under a stone. It's a folded cloth. Pull it free. Give me that shit. The cloth is thick and heavy. It's been neatly folded into a square. There's something bulky inside, which you can feel through the cloth. Whatever it is, it's not heavy. You unwrap the cloth. In the center of it is a short length of knotted rope. Let's look at the rope. You look at the knotted rope, but its purpose is unclear. It is too short to climb and too thick to tie anything with. Why did someone wrap it up and leave it here? Let's open the black cloth. You turn your attention to the cloth. It has 2 loose sleeves and a heavy hood. After a moment, you realize what it is. It is the habit of a monk, and the knotted rope is a belt. Let's look it over. It seems in one piece and free of moth holes. You could try it. Let's put it on. Hell yeah. You gather up the monk's concealing habit and quickly put it on. Aw, hell yeah, dude. I'm drippy as fuck now. Let's go. You will now pass as a monk. All right, let's look around. You pause and look around the broken, shattered room. This was a fine building once. There are hints of carvings and decorations on the stonework, even though all of it has now tumbled away, and the tower is open to the elements. Niches set into the walls once held idols and statues, and a curving spiral staircase once climbed upwards, but is now broken halfway. Let's climb the stairs. You wind your way up the stairs up to about halfway up the tower's height. The stairs end a few paces further on. They have been sheared off by the same force that removed the entire roof of the tower. Step to the edge. You step carefully to the broken edge of stairs. 2 more steps, taking each one at a time in case a stone should give away under your weight. After 3 steps, you stop. The broken edge of the stairs is now 1 step away. Well, we didn't come all this way for nothing. Let's take another step. You take another step, and then another, still climbing. Looking back at the stairs behind you seem quite intact. Looking in front, there are once again only a couple before they fall into ruin. And yet, with every step you make, it seems more steps appear. Let's walk up. Let's fucking go. Hell yeah. You pace step by step up the tower, spiraling around and around until you finally reach a trapdoor in the non-existent roof. Push it open. You push the trapdoor open and step out onto the roof of the tower. The wind whistles past your feet, ruffling your hair. You are standing high above the pass, atop a tower that was not here when you passed through a path below. A brass beacon of the kind you've seen before stands here. There's the faintest shimmer of magic in the air here. At first glance, the beacon seems quite intact, but there's no light shining from it now. You step away from the trapdoor and walk out across the roof. Okay, hold on. I just realized I really have to pee. I will be right back. Okay, fellas. I'm back. Back in black. I hit the sack. Okay, all right. No DMCA. Let's look over the edge. You head over to the edge of the tower, just by the end of the large brass lantern. Let's look out over the edge. Leaning out over the edge, you have a surprise. The tower below is still not there. Looking down, you see nothing but ruin and rubble, and yet, under your feet, the planks are quite sound and solid. You look out across the land towards a deep crater in the earth that is split like a bleeding sore by a black hissing vent in the ground. No doubt, this hellhole was the quarry that was used to build the citadel that lies beyond. Mampang itself dominates the skyline, enough to chill the hardest of hearts. At its top is a tower with a single high window, the Archmage's turret room. Let's look at the beacon. Looking back at the lantern, you are surprised to see that there is indeed a faint light spilling from its end. It seems this beacon is active, but it has been focused into an extremely narrow beam that reaches across an empty space towards something in the distance. You follow the beam with your eyes, and of course, you see where it points, the central tower of Mampang. You step back from the edge of the tower and hear a quiet cough from somewhere behind you. You look around, but can see nothing. Why the fuck would it be pointed at Mampang? Okay, the beacon. You move over to the eye of the beacon. A shimmering blue crystal is set at the end of it. You reach in to touch the crystal and are rewarded by a sense of healing wellness that floods your veins. The beacon seems uncharged as you step back. If we fuck with the beacon, we risk... If we fuck with the beacon, we risk, like, giving away our presence, right? Let's move away. You step away from the beacon. Just then, a robed figure steps out from a shadowy spot behind the lantern. You approach the figure boldly. "Greetings," it declares. "And what are you doing here?" "Greetings." The figure nods. "You seem remarkably intact." "Intact?" "Indeed. It is most curious, since the lower floors of this home since the lower floors of this tower are home to more than one mind snake, and I would not expect any traveler to simply walk in." "I saw no snakes." "No, indeed," the creature replies. "Mind snakes are hardly visible, but their sharp end is quite sharp, and usually quite hungry." "Are you not afraid of them yourself?" "I'm terribly afraid of them, obviously." The creature strokes its sharp chin. "All in all, this situation is most unexpected." "Let me ask you a few questions." "Indeed," the creature replies in some surprise. "I've seen beacons like this before," you tell the creature. "This is the last of the great beacons built across the backlands," the creature guarding the tower declares. "They are lenses, and like all lenses, they collect, focus, and deliver. Only they do not focus and deliver light." There is something strange about the creature's speech. as though the conversation was happening out of its proper order. They focus time. Indeed, that is correct. The beacons destroyed the backlands. Indeed, they will, the creature... Or... sorry. Indeed, they will, replies the watching creature calmly. Slowly, they will remove the future from that place and deliver it to my master, the Archmage, he nods. He desires immortality. It cannot be achieved, but extreme longevity is a close second. Why do you serve him? It is right that I should serve someone, the creature replies, as you do. When I entered the tower, it was ruined, you explain. The creature cocks its hooded head and considers that with some interest. Remarkable, it breathes. I sense truth in your words, although I cannot understand them. Perhaps I should summon a snake up here to test your assertions. The creature nods to you. I must resume my calculations, he declares. You nod in return. If you survived your journey up my tower, no doubt you will survive the journey down. It's funneling time to the Archmage to make him live longer. Very curious. We can try adjusting it very slightly, but that's going to piss off this man. Let's descend. You return to the trapdoor and make your way down the stairs, watching it disappear behind you as you go. You are back in the ruined tower. The wind howls through the broken structure above. You step away from the ruin once more. See, now I'm thinking, right? Like, is the time beam basically like a Wi-Fi? Like, will the Archmage know if we just like kind of turn it off? And he's like, who the fuck is messing with the router? And then come over and like tell this man, Ayo, stop? Is it gonna like let the Archmage know what's going on? Like, or like, will this weaken the Archmage? I have no clue. But I think we should still continue forth in incognito mode. Right? So let's make a move. You are back outside the tower. You can smell the troll's corpse even from this distance. The path continues in both directions. Let's climb up. You climb up onto the cliff path. The sun has reached its highest point now, and the path splits here, snaking around the edge of the mountain, while a branch works its way downwards towards the stone tower. Looking west, you see the end of a narrow wooden bridge. There are 3 ways to go from here. Okay, I think the Argbad crater is this. They just like took a whole mountain and decided, hell yeah, that's fire, dude. I kind of want to see what's in here, but I kind of also just want to like we're already an hour in. I want to see if I can do this in one stream, like one 3-hour stream. The trail winds up through the mountain. You follow it until a slight ahead makes you stop. Higher up the rocky cliffs perches a strange structure made of twigs, branches, and moss. Let's look up at it. It looks like a huge bird's nest perched on a wide stone ledge. If you were able to climb the rock face up to it, you could easily fit inside. Let's climb up. You climb up, careful to hold on to your belongings as you scale the rock face. You scramble up the rocks and hoist yourself onto the edge, just outside the enormous nest. The nest is an intricate construction of twigs and branches, built into a natural cleft in the peak. The wind whips past a short distance away. Everything it can grasp has already been taken. On one side is a dark hole in the straw that might be large enough for you to crawl through it. Let's clamber inside. You crawl through the hole into the heart of the nest. Inside the nest is a curious bell-shaped chamber open to the sky. The walls are of woven straw, matted with feathers and scraps of fur. You look around the chamber with interest. It is an incredible piece of engineering for a bird, even a large one. What could have made this thing? Well, I'm stealing from whatever made it, so... You poke around the nest, eventually stumbling across a cloth skull cap, packed roughly into one of the walls. But as you weigh your find in your hands, you hear a shriek from behind you. You swing around just in time for 2 pairs of talons to scrape down your chest. The nest's occupant has returned, but this is no bird. This is a bird man. The birdman's wings are outstretched, clawed hands already up and ready to tear at your body. The vicious talons drip with your blood. You only have moments to react. Cast a spell. If I cast Fireball, this whole nest is going up in flames. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, it seems really funny. Consulting the constellations above you, bind the spell and winding a fireball into your palm. Fuck you! You toss the fireball at the creature, who dodges aside almost carelessly, eyes filled with the horror. Then you hear a crackling. Dry straw and twigs of the nest have ignited from the heat. Rush the birdman. Using the gathered flames as a distraction, you rush the creature, but it has moved away from you into the depths of the heat as it tries to beat the fire back with its wings. His feathers begin to smolder. You know what? I'll put out the fire. You beat at the flames with the birdman, stomping and stamping, but the whole chamber is now one great oven and you can barely stand the heat. There's no chance. I'm gonna drag him back. You go to haul him backwards, but the creature only swipes you aside and keeps digging at the nest. The gathered smoke is filling your nose and throat. No doubt the birdman is trying to save something, or someone, buried in the straw. But what it is, you will never know. You stumble out through the smoke at the last moment before it caves in on itself. Well, now I feel like shit. Do we rewind for that? All right. This stream, we're doing one rewind, and this is it. This is it. All right. All right. Look at the nest. Yes. Search the nest. Look around. Or cast a spell. Cast a spell. Let's talk to the man. Okay. Can we yap? We cannot yap. I'm not going to do fireball again. Not going to do gob. Hold on. Sob. Unknown. That doesn't bode well. We can try it. I don't know what that's gonna do. Okay, yeah. And we don't really have many options. Okay. Man. Okay. Only hot. Okay. We can try to do kid, which is just create illusions. Consulting the constellations above, you bind the spell, and the bracelet at your wrist begins to glow. You have just a moment to choose your illusion. I can create the illusion that I am the Archmage. All right, what's the play here? We can create an illusion of fire, which might be kind of epic. We can create an illusion of rats to just summon rats, I suppose. Or we can be like, I'm your boss. But considering the reception that we've had thus far, don't know if that's going to work out. Let's do illusion. Illusion of the Archmage. You summon the illusion that you are the Archmage. For a moment, the bird seems confused. Then, once he is certain he recognizes you, he steps a little closer. You bow your head in greeting, but are only met with a savage talon swipe across your side. I and my children will free this land from you, the creature declares, and then comes at you with full force. You quickly draw your sword from its scabbard. The worst part is shut up. All right, this counts as the same one. This counts as the same one. I just don't want to hurt the Birdman, okay? All right. This is my one like goofy encounter I want to go well, okay? An illusion of fire. You create an illusion of a blazing inferno and the Birdman's eyes fill with fear. A moment later, he has raced from the nest and launched himself, shrieking into the sky. But it seems he cannot shake the sense that he is set on fire. He plummets as though his wings were burnt to the ground, and you're left alone in a strange silence. You crawl back out of the nest. Okay. I think we killed him again, nonetheless. You emerge into the fresh air. Bro, so sad no one is wanting you. Yeah, I know. That's about right. You emerge from the fresh air and biting wind on the edge of a cliff. The sun is beginning to lower and the air begins to cool. Let's climb down. You begin the long, cautious climb back down the path below. You clamber slowly and carefully down to the path. At the foot of the cliff lies the broken body of the Birdman. You pause for a moment, but the Birdman is quite clearly dead. God fucking damn it. We kill him nonetheless. Maybe we can revive him. Surely we have holy water, right? Surely. No, because we used it to revive the skeleton, then we didn't have a skull or a skull cap to communicate with him. Bruh. Okay. Two raw fish. Yeah, no, we're pretty screwed here. Okay, okay. We really just can't save the Birdman no matter what. The best bet was just to leave the homie alone. That's sad. Let's search him. You rifle his body quickly. You find nothing. Birdmen do not carry weapons, as their talons suffice. But you do find a curious blackened mark just under one wing. You push aside the feathers and examine the mark more closely. It's some kind of scar, rough cut, as though made with a rough knife. It depicts two interlocked S's. The scars are bleached and disoriented. They must have been made when the creature was still young. Let's cast a spell. Yeah, we don't. Makes me wish we saved our holy water. But goddamn. I don't think Doc is going to do anything, and we need to save it, because I presume we're going to fight the Archmage at the end of all this. Alright. We just leave him. We can't do anything. You leave the body for the carrion eaters. The path has turned rough northwards here, as it cuts through a pass between peaks either side. North we go. You head down a slight incline. Mampang looms into view once more. It is as though these mountain passes have been carved to ensure no one approaching could forget the citadel's looming presence. Let's look ahead. Looking at the path ahead, you see the ground appear to buckle where a sharp rock rim rises out of the ground. What lies before you is a deep crater, as though an entire mountain peak had been scooped away. You will have to find a way across. The sun begins to dip, heading towards the horizon. You scramble awkwardly up the rim of the crater, hampered by the hem of your robe. Then you skid and slide several feet down the rough slope, finally landing on what appears to be a path. The wind picks up as the evening draws on. It'll be dark soon. All right, gotta check up on ourselves. You are uninjured, but there's no way back up. The path leads down into the crater here. Another trail leads north to south around the rim. Let's look into the crater. The path down into the crater is wider and more beaten down than you might have expected. This is not the main road to Mempang, but this trail must still see some use. Time to continue. What is the... Oh, okay, I see the main path to Mempang. Interesting. Do we skirt around? Listen, I'm disguised. I should probably just go through the middle just to see what's up. You follow the trail until it becomes lost under thick scrub. Let's continue forth on the trail. You follow the trail. The sun lowers towards the horizon. Soon it will be dark once more. A thin plume of smoke rises to the east. Look at the smoke. From what you can make out, the smoke seems to be rising steadily, but thinly. It is more like mist than smoke from a bonfire. You slip onwards through the crater. We might as well... Let's check out the smoke. At least, do a little peek. You break from the trail and head across the loose dirt towards the rising smoke. The air begins to get warm. Sweat trickles down your back as you get closer to what appears to be a crack deep in the earth. Let's approach it. You make your way carefully to the fissure's edge. It is almost pleasantly warm here, with soft moss underneath your feet. Superheated steam bursts up every few minutes with a hiss. There is something else on the air, too. The sound of a wind, surely, not voices. We can cook in the vent. Let's go. All right. You unwrap the portions of raw fish you've been carrying and roast them in the fire. The smell makes your empty belly groan and grumble. Oh, let's eat some. Okay. You tear into the fish. It is rich and delicious and highly nourishing. All right. Let's look into the vent. The vent is a jagged crack in the earth. The black stone is deeply cut. Strange shapes flicker within rising jets of steam, seemingly murmuring. You can definitely hear voices, but where are they coming from? Let's literally suss it out. If we can even cast suss. Okay, we can. Cool. You wind the stars in order around you, and a steady voice begins to speak with you. There is little to fear here, the voice says. Echoes, nothing more. Its message delivered, the spell fades. There is no creature near the vent, despite the warmth it provides. Let's listen closely. Straining to listen, you make out distinctive voices coming from deep inside the vent. It is like standing on a balcony above a room full of whispering people, all crowding for attention at the edge of your hearing. But how can anyone survive down there? Who's there? You call out. The voices become louder in response, crowding over each other. But they are speaking a language you do not recognize. The steam hisses up, then settles on nearby moss like dew. I think there's a spell to talk in all languages. I'm pretty sure there is. Let me just check the spell book. Um, That's rap. That's what it is. Okay. Talk all languages. Grabbing the wig from your pack, you pull it onto your head and weave your spell. The voices from the crater transform into a cacophony of overlapping curses, wails, and complaints. They are confused, many of them hardly making sense. You listen for a few moments, picking out a few voices here and there. They are demanding to know where they are, what year it is. One has lost a donkey, another complains of a stomachache. They are nothing more than human, even though they are almost certainly quite dead. You greet the voices, and they respond with surprise. Green shadows flicker near the vent. You can hear us? One asks. Can you see us as well? Do we still exist? Sorry, bro, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Nah. They erupt in wails. Can I aid you? How can one aid the dead? Put out the fire, one cries. Are you not the Analander? You freeze. Who is the Analander? The Great One. The one who has, or who was to come, the voice replies. Our savior. Our hope. I'm a mere traveler. You reply coldly. You take the wig from your head, and their words become meaningless sounds once more. The air cools as you move away from the vent. Damn. You make your way around the front of the low building. The sun is now sinking down. Let's have a gander. The wind washes through the upper story, and gripweed and yellow bright spark peer out from the shattered windows. The building was once perhaps an inn, perhaps a trading post, perhaps a place for guides to welcome newcomers to the great fortress beyond. Now it has crumbled to half its state. I'll pick the bright spark. You pluck a sprig of bright spark. It has bright yellow flowers, but is completely useless, as most wild plants are. So you quickly toss it aside to wither. Let's go inside the building. You put a hand on the frame as you step through the listing doorway. You enter the crumbling building. It's missing its roof, so you are exposed to the sky. Search the building. With great care, you search the rest of the room, but find nothing of interest. The building is quite empty, but carved on one wall is what appears to be a scratched message. You read over the message. Third that the Throbin doors is L of Invis Curious. Oh my fucking god. Are we gonna have another care moment? I swear to God. Okay. Move on. There's nothing more to find here. You slip out of the aged building and back into the light. You step back out on the trail and look around once more. Paths lead in several directions. East. The sun has almost set. The sky has turned a deep purple. It will be night soon. The trail passes a deep crack in the ground which extends southwards, growing deeper and wider. There's no way across the fissure, but the path leads in either direction past it. Okay. You make your way up the curved, dusty rim of the crater. An open pass leads forwards and up. The skyline is suddenly dominated by the looming specter of Mampang. Night has fallen. You should find somewhere safe to sleep, for if you keep going through the night, you will be weaker for it. Spellbound at its presence, your eyes follow the lines of the citadel's walls. Gnarled spirals twist upwards towards the sky as if in agonized prayers up to the heavens. Sharp angles and jagged points protrude everywhere. Demonic gargoyles line the outside walls. Look away. You try to look away, but you cannot. It is as though the towers have gripped your eyes. The sight would be enough to break courage of any brave soldier, and its effect on you is much the same. You feel a knot of fear bury itself in your stomach where you cannot shake it. Despite shivering at the sight of the citadel, you feel yourself compelled to step forwards. Still, perhaps, it would be best to approach it well rested, and you cannot sleep here. All right, let's try this building back. You follow the path around the north side of the crater. Moonlight covers everything. You soon come within sight of a low hut, topped with a bell. From here, you can make out a little of the hut, apart from the bell house on top of the roof and the rope that snakes down inside. You would do well to find somewhere safe to rest. The hut's our best option, man. You approach the hut, squinting against the dust in hope of spotting any danger. It has wide windows and empty doorways, allowing the wind to whip right through it. The wind gently swings the bell on the roof. So wait and watch. You wait, watching the hut to see if anything stirs from inside, but no one moves. We're going to the original. Sus. You craft the spell and a calm voice speaks into your thoughts. There's nothing here, the voice remarks. Mampang knows you're coming. Their scouts have pulled back. Uh-oh. It's a word spoken. The enchantment fizzles away. Well, that's no bueno. Let's go into the hut. You slip into the hut. You approach the hut and step inside. It is as silent as a tomb. I'm asleep here. This place is clearly long abandoned, and should be a sheltered and quiet spot to spend the night. You lay yourself down. At least you have eaten once already today, so you will not need to eat again to avoid hunger. You find yourself beginning to scratch. It seems you've gotten fleas probably from the monk's habit. All right. Whatever. You lie back and try to forget your troubles. You are protected here, but your rest is untroubled by dreams. Inside the hut, during the past day you gained 1 provision, explored the peaks and ravines of Zanzunas, descended into the Argbad crater, disguised yourself as a monk and found 1 new clue. The Archmage is still waiting for you. You pick yourself to your feet and brush down your tunic. All right. Before leaving, you search the corners of the hut thoroughly and uncover 2 vials of potion wrapped in an oily cloth. Blimberry! You slip quickly out of the hut once more. Okay. You leave the hut and follow the path in the direction of Mampang. The early morning sun makes the air glow. You must keep going. You follow the path all the way around the crater to the far side. An open pass leads forwards and up. The air moves a little around you, still icy, but fresh. Despite shivering against the sight of the citadel, you feel yourself compelled to step forwards. You clamber up the far slope of the crater until you're on the main road once more. I'm going to look down the pass. There are most likely guards stationed with a view over the pass. This is the only route into the citadel and is certain to be guarded. Or to be guarded. Not gardened. Jesus. Then, suddenly, you feel a wave of nausea. The ground beneath you shifts, and the sun turns sideways. A wave of nausea. The ground beneath you shifts, and the sun slides sideways. What? Have I been dizzied? I have no clue. This is magic. All right, you open your arms to cast a spell. When you fall, the world rushes past you, further than it should. You hear a woman's voice singing gently above the sound of lapping waves. What magic is this? Waves lull and wash towards a shore, lapping water. You lie on a bed of stones, looking up at the bright sunlight. Where am I? This is not High Zaman. A feeling of dread creeps over you. What kind of trap is this? How far have you traveled? You open your arms and gather the stars to you. Stay your hands, murmurs a voice, gentle and kind. You will not need protection here. Who are you? Who are you? You call, turning your head, but seeing nothing beyond the washing sea. I have many names, she replies, but none truly describe who I am. The sea washing your boots, as though inviting you to step forwards. I must go back. You shall, the voice assures you. You shall. A gentle wind tugs at your coat. You're standing at the shore of the Kakabad Sea, barely half a day's walk from Analand. Fuck. Bruh. The Bridge of Van Cass. I'm assuming that's what this is. Well, that's not great. Okay. You crunch towards the shore. In the glinting water, a boat slowly rocks to and fro, and in the boat sits a woman with a loom. Why did you bring me here? You ask. We have walked a long road together, she replies. Perhaps you did not know it, but that road is almost to its end. I bring you here to deliver a warning. I am Libra, goddess of justice, and our long road together has almost reached its end. The voice fills with sadness. I have kept you safe many times, saved you, but I can do no more. I know you do not understand, she continues, but you will soon enough. When you enter Mampang, you will understand. The walls around the citadel are more than those of physical stone. It is a cursed place, guarded by sigils and long knives. You mean you cannot enter? You are right, but perhaps you do not understand the cost. Analander, for as long as you have walked, I have walked beside you. I have granted you waking dreams, dreams of your future, dreams from which you wake to walk a different way. Visions. You remember no such thing. Waking dreams, the goddess replies. The kind that seem real until they disappear, as though they had never been. She shoots the shuttle across her loom once more. But no more. Once inside the walls of Mampang, your future will become precious once again. The word strikes a knell of fear in your heart. Precious. Unique. For a moment, she bows her head. I can only hope you will be fortunate. Tell me what you mean, you ask, bowing your head in respect. A weave can be made, and then unmade, and then made again in a different fashion. The final garment does not know how many times it was stitched. So it has been with your journey. She laughs. Or perhaps you would consider yourself to simply have been lucky you have survived so far. A large wave strikes the shore, and as it drains, the boat tilts and begins to drift away. The woman makes no move to stop it, merely continuing to weave. You steady yourself and watch as she drifts away. The thought of the long journey back to Mampang begins to sink into your mind. You step away from the water towards the mouth of a dim cave. Inside, the stone drips salty tears. The tunnel must be flooded at high tide. The cave walls are jagged and irregular, formed by lashing waves and the shifting rocks of 1,000 years. Here and there, crystal seams wink from the deep within the frozen stone folds. You push deeper into the cave, climbing over fallen stones, following the line of the deepest darkness up to the towering cliffside. Somewhere overhead are the low hills of the Cantopani, and a short distance from that is your home. You climb higher still, upwards into the rock, when something in the distance begins to roar and moan. You are not alone in the darkness. You climb higher still, fingers slipping on the wet rock, as a great wind begins to rush through the tunnel. Gathering the strength and force as it tries to push you back, your fingers and feet slip out from under you on the stones, falling. As you begin to fall, the stars reach down to catch you. You are back on the edge of the pass. Was that real? A taste in my mouth. There's still a taste of salt in your mouth, but nothing more. You shake the vision away and look around yourself once more. You creep forwards into the narrow rock pass. This is the only corridor to Mampang. There is no other way. You make your way slowly forward as the narrow walls close in on either side. As the sun climbs the sky, the wind begins to rise. Hey, dude, what's up? This is Sorcery. It's kind of an adapted choose-your-own-adventure novel, but put into video game format. It's pretty good. We're on the final part here, so if that very brief pitch sounds interesting to you, I'd highly recommend to it. Avert your eyes, you know? Yeah, like fantasy setting. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Well worth the like fucking $20 I got it for. It's a banger. How are you doing though, dude? Oh, let's stop and listen. All right. You still your breath and listen for any moment, but hear only the wind whistling through the pass. Let's look ahead. The path stretches on in front of you, curving ever slightly as it approaches the rising citadel. The road is barely wide enough for a cart, and the mountains tower on either side. An avalanche could bury you in a moment. And are there birdmen up there, waiting? All right, let's make a move. The pass lies open. There are no obvious traps and no ways around. The only way is forwards. You move cautiously along the pass. It's barely wide enough for two horses to ride abreast, but the walls on either side loom high and threatening. Starlight pools around you. There's magic here. Peer upwards. Looking upwards, you see the cliff edges now look smoother somehow, as though loose rocks have been moved away from the cliff edge. Let's try to cast something. Anything. Yaz. Trying to see if there's any new spells here. It doesn't look like it, though. Usually when it prompts me like this, there is a new spell to be discovered, or like for temporary use. but it doesn't look like it this time. Let's look ahead. Looking ahead, you can see an arrow sticking out of the ground. Okay. We're teleporting then. I don't like that one bit. We're just gonna and zip past. Reaching up to the stars, you create the magic, trusting to luck as the green metal ring on your finger begins to gleam like a serpent's eye. You close your eyes as your body is wrenched away. You reappear a few feet further on. The end of the pass is almost in sight. Thin shadows stretch along the high rock walls. Wait. You pause for a moment. There's a voice overhead. Stay alert. We know he's here. Somewhere. All right. We're going invisible. You slip on the pearl ring and cast the spell, and slowly a filmy light extends from the jewel of the ring, surrounding your body. Where did he go? One of the guards yells. Anyone see him? The guard begins firing at random, their arrows sailing well clear of you. Run. You break into a run, dodging between the arrows. The guards argue amongst themselves, accusing each other of losing sight of you. You leave the guards behind as you reach the end of the pass. You follow the path between sharp peaks. The dewy light of your pearl ring fades and disappears. The sun is blisteringly hot now. And then the pass opens and provides you with your first clear view of the Citadel's gate. After 39 days of walking and hardship, you have arrived. Mampang. Wow. Pig goes hard. Feel free to screenshot. From here, you can make out a few swooping patrols of birdmen crisscrossing the city and the passes on either side. They are looking out for someone. The serpent's message has gotten through, it seems. A few carts rumble up the road from the east towards the main gate. Okay. Regard the main gate. You take a moment to drink in its sight. Mampang's walls are towering, and they march away on either side. Guard turrets jutting against the dark blue sky. The fortress is the size of a small city, and somewhere inside is the crown of kings. Let's look for ways in. You scan the area for nearby entry points. The main gate. A short, well-paved road leads right up to the main gate. It is bound in strips of iron and taller than most trees. Carts approach the gate in an orderly fashion. Most are searched, emptied, and turned quickly around. A few are allowed into the yard. Guards armed with bows stand ready to cut down any unwelcomed visitors. The side entrance. Following the wall with your eyes, you see a path following the stone wall of the keep westwards. There may be another entrance that way. The road. Finally, away to the east, the road from the gate disappears off towards distant lands. Heading that way would mean leaving the citadel behind. It's time to make your choice then. Let's watch the carts for a little bit. You watch the carts carefully. Each is laden with goods. The guards inspect them fairly curiously. Or, sorry. Wait. Cursorily. The guards inspect them fairly cursorily, patting down their contents before waving them through. Okay. The gate is busy enough that it might be possible to slip through. The only way we're slipping through the main gate is if, like, we have a spell. We have this side path on the ruined portions as well. That may be optimal. I didn't even realize some of the buildings here were ruined as well. Okay. See how well we can lie. I do look like a monk after all. The sun has reached its highest point now. The main gate of Mampang is not as large as those of Care, but boasts many more guards. They cluster at the entrance, stopping every traveler with questions. You open your arms to cast a spell, but seem to find no starlight above you. There must be some kind of magical defense in place. A passing merchant elbows you in the ribs. Sorcery, is it? She remarks. Look up there. She points at the guard turret to the left of the door. You follow the line of the merchant's finger to a rack of spikes set around the rim of the turret. There are many small things skewered on the spikes, some mere skeletons, others winged and broken. Minimites, the merchant remarks. When they catch one, that's where they go. With that, the merchant moves away. No, we're going to come across the Minimite. Yeah, all right, man. Hey, Schmo. What's up, dude? That's rough, though. Okay, let's look through the gates. Through the open gates, you get your first glance of Mampang, although all you can see is a yard hemmed by tall walls. Then you see the citadel rising at the center. Mampang is in fact two places, one inside the other, a walled city with a deadly citadel at its heart. The city veers between lawlessness and oppression, controlled by sadistic guards and criminal thugs. But you know the inner fortress is home to far worse death traps, monsters, and the fanatically loyal soldiers of the Archmage. Watch the guards. The guards move around listlessly, following no set pattern. Some seem disinterested, others seem sharp-eyed and keen. But if the gate is so well protected, what will the fortress itself be like? Oh yeah, nearly every one of the towers around has those spikes for minimites. That's rough. Our best bet is this side door then. We could maybe try to fib our way through here. But that's a little... Fuck it, let's try, you know? The gate itself is made of a dark wood that you do not recognize. Both doors are open, but more than a dozen guards stand by, with more inside. A group of merchants and travelers are on the road from the east, lining up to be let in. Most sit on carts pulled by mules, though a few are on foot. You stand in the line and wait, drawing no particular attention to yourself. The sun bakes. You feel the eyes of the guards on you. Eventually, it is your turn at the gate. The guard who stops you is holding a parchment. You notice his purse is heavier than most. He looks up at you about your business, but falls silent and backs away. Guards, guards, he cries. This is the Analander, 2 arms. The guard reaches for his sword as a crowd of his companions rush over. You are severely outnumbered. Uh-oh. You take a second to glance around you, looking for options. Nearby, a group of untethered horses. The closest guard within grasping distance, but nothing else. Excuse me, how did they know my face? Otto. I'm gonna scare the horses. You shout at some nearby horses and slap one with the flat of your sword. It shoos away, hauling a cart along behind it into another group of wagons, which in turn tip and set the other horses off. Traders begin shouting in confusion and anger, which spooks the animals even further. The road has descended into chaos. Horses race everywhere, pursued by merchants trying to tame them. Fights break out as more enterprising traders attempt to snatch some of their competitors' wares. Your initial folly is quickly forgotten as the guards try to prevent a riot from breaking out. Now is the time to slip away. Fuck. Okay. You step back from the gate once more. Thin heat beats down from an empty sky. You will have to see what you can do. Okay. You follow the path past the main gate and around the curving stone wall of the fortress. The sun is beginning to lower and the air begins to cool. The path opens up here into a wide plateau, directly beneath a guard turret. Crossing it will leave you quite exposed and visible. I'm gonna look up at the turret. All right. You shield your eyes against the sun as you look up at the turret. At the top is a sentry post that would offer an excellent view across the landscape. A guard stands leaning on a staff, looking out over the land below. We could do the... we could try to teleport, but we could also... Let's just go invisible. All right. You put on the pearl ring and weave the enchantment. Gradually, a thin glow extrudes from the jewel of the ring and uncovers you. All right, let's make like bananas and split while we can. You walk calmly out across the plateau, trusting your spell to keep you safe. You follow the path along the curve of the mountainside. Far below, a river rushes at the foot of a deep chasm that opens 2 steps to your left. The dewy light of your pearl ring fades and disappears. The sun begins to dip, heading towards the horizon. Let's look at the wall. The wall of the fortress is built from the same blocks of stone of a size you haven't seen since the ruined steps down in the backlands. They must have been carried and laid by enchantments. No creature could have assembled them on the edge of this precipice, with such a narrow space to work. At the end of this path, a side gate is set into the wall. Let's look into the chasm first. You look down into the chasm. Stone black water rushes far beneath, tearing through the underground chasm that skewers the mountain's roots like the rot in an old man's gums. Let's look at the side gate now. The side gate has no main entrance, but is no main entrance, but is still impressively large. All right, you turn your attention back from the gate and scan over the wall for handholds, but with each block so large, there's not enough crevices to climb, and the wall is high as well, tall enough to keep out the prying eyes of a giant. The path follows the chasm edge. All right, side gate. Avoiding the watchful eyes of the birdmen circling above the ramparts, you sneak towards the tower. The side gate is much smaller than the main gate and is probably used for patrols. All right. You open your arms to cast a spell, but once again, you cannot seem to craft any magic out here. There's a stone overhang over the doorway. You could perch there, but it wouldn't be high enough to climb over the wall. Let's look at the door. You approach the door, sizing it up. It seems solid enough. You would not be able to smash it open even if you could do it silently. And there does not seem to be a lock. It must be barred from the other side. Let's climb up on the overhang. You pull yourself up onto the edge above the door. It's only wide enough to support you. It'll take some balance to stay up. Let's knock on the door. So here's what I'm envisioning, right? We're up here. We knock on the door. Guard's like, who's down there? And then goes to answer it, right? And we just jump on him and make our way in. You swing the flat of your assassin's sword downwards, and there is a resounding thump. From behind the door, you hear some muttering and cursing as footsteps approach. You hear the bar being lifted. Wait. You stay silent as the door opens and a black elf in patchwork armor pokes her head out. Seeing no one, she steps through the doorway, looking behind the bushes and around the corner. Okay. We could drop on her, but there's going to be a few more people. We should slip down. You drop silently, the guard still searching the bushes. Let's slip into the door. Like a shadow, you slip into the doorway and bolt the door behind you, breathing a sigh of relief. You've made it inside of Mampang. Except there are two surprised guards standing a few feet of you. There is no time for anything but your sword. The three of you all stare at each other in shock for a moment, then spring into action. You suffer a deep cut on your shoulder as the first guard lands a lucky blow, but you skewer him for his trouble. One guard is left standing. Giving a snarl, the black elf swings his sword and charges. There's no time for patience. You launch your sword for his heart as he tries to keep you back with a push. He struggles to breathe. Enraged by your attack, he shifts his position. You raise your sword in defense just in time as the black elf guard hefts his weapon and attempts to crush your skull with a single stroke. You're just in time to roll to one side. His wary eyes watch you closely. Okay. You stand down as the black elf guard leaps forward. You parry neatly. He waits for you to move. Readying yourself, you rush in, hoping to skewer the black elf guard on your blade. Rushing forward, you thrust a steady lunge to skewer his heart. He ducks unsuccessfully. He struggles to keep calm. You maintain the pace. With the strength to split his skull, you slash as the black elf guard lunges at your chest. The guard stumbles. He is weakening. Keeping his temper in check, he adjusts his grip. All right, defend. You raise your guard as the black elf guard strikes out with his short sword. You push the blow aside and are mostly uninjured. Stealing your courage, you move in, thundering across the floor. You thrust a bolt stab to skewer his eye as the black elf guard swings for your neck. The guard's eyes are bloodshot and panicked. He keeps his distance. You prime another attack, rushing forwards. You thrust a piercing lunge for his ankle. You cut the guard down. All right, continue. Jesus. You sheathe your assassin sword, steadying your breath. The door rattles as the guard locked outside complains to let her in. You dash for the doorway, then gasp with a sigh of relief. You are inside. This is a small... This is a small side yard with further walls between it and the bulk of Mampang. But it is still inside the citadel. The shadow of Mampang falls over you like a cloak. It is as though the sun itself has dimmed, and you feel suddenly more cold and alone than ever. Pray to the gorilla. You close your eyes and murmur a prayer. It seems the gorilla is still with you, but more quiet now. But instead, a woman's voice in your head whispers, before fading into the murmur of waves. Good luck. You have entered the citadel of Mampang. Here, no decision can be rewound. Uh-oh. Okay. The wind picks up as the evening draws on. Soon it will be dark once more. There is nothing but a small enclosure between the barracks and a smaller outer gate. It is most likely used for training exercises and the like. A brazier in the middle of the yard is dark. The side entrance was perhaps designed for the servants and lower class who once served the sorcerers of the citadel. It is clearly long since fallen into heavy disuse. Stacks of crates rot in one corner, leaning over a heavy inner door that has perhaps not been opened in 100 years. Another door in the walls to the southeast seems more commonly used. A few guards nod in your direction. You make a pious gesture in reply. Huh. The crates have been discarded over many years, with those at the bottom rotten to a putrescent pulp, while those at the top are more or less intact. They rise up almost to the level of the inner wall. A few guards march from the outer gate to the door out of the yard. All right, look at the barracks. The door to the barracks is hanging open. Peering in, you don't see anyone around you. You will need to find a way further inwards. Okay. This is going to lead us through the main gate, which is more of an issue. Hold on. There are all these towers here. I don't think we're supposed to be seeing around. the back here, but we are... Oh my god, it is twisting and turning. See, this is a hole in it. Now I'm going to assume that is intentional, which means we could probably get up on the walls here. And hopefully teleport. You'd hope, at least. But it does look like, tentatively, our only way into the Citadel is the front gate. Let's go to the old door. You step over to the door, which is set in a low arch in the heavy stone walls that shields off Inner Mampang. It looks like it's not been opened in centuries. The hinges have rusted into red metal fists. You reach for the handle, when at that moment a guard emerges from the small doorway and calls to you. You, keep away from that. I'll step back. Good, the guard declares with a nod. Can do without scraping up another body from the ground. With that, he goes back inside the barrack block. Well, we're just gonna do it again anyway, so it's like... How? Hot? Sus. Let's do this. You weave the constellations into a pattern around you. A quiet voice begins to speak to you. The voice warns you that the door handle itself is trapped and must be avoided. Its message intoned, the magic gives out. Okay, let's look at the door. The door is ancient. The handle is a large iron ring set on a rusted rivet. Okay. So if we hit the dop... Oh my god, dop. Here we go. Alright, you cast the enchantment and the door rattles hard, but it does not unlock. It seems to have been enchanted against a simple magic approach. Perhaps the door has a counterspell built into it somehow. We could go for... Now, Zen is only gonna make us float. Alright, let's try this, No, that's hot. Okay. Thought I saw an L. Guess not. Oh no, I think I was looking at the Z. And my brain is like, no, that's an L. Nope. I can make a goblin do it. That'd be kind of funny. I think I only have one goblin tooth, though. Okay. What do the guards say exactly? We can do without scraping up another body from the ground. So presumably the door just like kind of goes down and thwacks you. Like a fly swatter. I'd imagine at least. Huh. Okay, okay. Let's go for that. Huh. We could try Sob, but I still don't know what that does. Let's just go for Gob. Why not? I think we have 2 Goblin's Teeth, actually. Alright. You pull out your last Goblin Tooth? Oh, rip. And throw it onto the ground, casting your spell across. The tooth erupts into a column of smoke, and a moment later, a Goblin warrior is standing in front of you. Order the Goblin to open the door. You order the Goblin to open the door handle, and it leaps forward, grasps the handle, and turns. A moment later, its whole body is stiff and rigid, its eyes popping halfway through their sockets. For just a moment, you see a trickle of blood running from its palm, then it vanishes into a puff of smoke. Tiny needles in the door handle retract as the Goblin vanishes. Interesting. So, if we do... We can't do Mag. We can't do... Zob. Oh, summon a rock demon. We can't make a force field. Let's see if we can do walk, actually. No W's, no. So our only options are Zen. We can just fireball the thing. Fuck it, why not, right? Looking to the constellations overhead, you craft the spell, winding a fireball into your palm, and you toss the fireball out the door where it explodes with a splash of fire. You turn aside, covering your face, until the smoke clears. The door has been left blackened and charred, but is not open. We could try something else. Zob is the rock demon. Can't do that. Gob won't lead us anywhere. Dop doesn't work. Huh. Yeah, and we can't do any, like, force fields or anything like that, so we're kind of stuck here. Our only options are just trying to, like... we probably could have ordered the goblin to, like, attack the hinges, because the hinges were really rusted. I can't invest any more stamina here unless I can pray. I can pray. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We might be chilling. Alright. You move away from the door once more. One clue unlocked. What is that clue? The Larger of Throg. Alright. There's no way from the outer yards of Mampang to the inner city. It is sealed to all. Okay. The yard. All right. You leave the shadow of the door and step into the yard once more. Clouds rumble as they roll across the dimming sky. The tower and inner Mampang awaits. Let's just climb up the crates. You make your way over to the stack of crates. They form a rough tower almost as high as the inner wall, but the wood is rotting and soft to the touch. Look at them. You look over the crates, but you can get no sense of what they contain. Open. You open one of the lower crates, cracking the lid just a fraction. It appears that they are filled with sludge, not gold. Climb. You regard the stack this way and that for a few moments before settling on a first foothold. The stack shakes but does not collapse. But you are only halfway up when a guard appears from the door in the southeast wall. Oi! He shouts. It's you again. What do you think you're doing? Get down from there. I'm going to climb down. Well? The guard demands, his cruel pike pointed in your direction. What were you up to? I lost something. You must think I'm a fool, he replies, but not without some sympathy. Now, don't go breaking your neck. There's no way from the outer yards to the inner plaza. He seems almost wistful, and you take advantage of the calm moment to clamber down. Have you ever been inside? I was born inside, he replies. Not a bad place for a child. Plenty to do, plenty to explore. Never enough food, never too little either. But then they promoted me. He shrugs. Here am I. But surely you can move freely. You think us guards are free? We're more captive than the prisoners. We don't have the option to escape. That's Mampang for you. He lowers his pike. Now get back to the main yard and get on with your business. With that, remarkably, he turns and leaves you be. Where will you look next? Interesting. It's very interesting the guards are not immediately hostile. Huh. Do we keep fucking with the old door? Might as well. I'm just going to look for some form of a way we can get past this. Okay, let's return to the old door. You go back to the old door. Let's see. Have we unlocked new options? I don't think so. I can't yob. Otherwise I would. Let's just see if we can float. Okay. You turn the starlight into alignment around you as the medallion begins to glow and you gently rise up into the air. A couple of guards are moving towards your position. All right, fellas, see you later. I'm floating over the wall. You float up under the careful control of the spell. Just then you notice two guards looking your way. They have not yet noticed you, in midair as you are, but they might if you keep rising. Fuck you. Don't care. You continue to float until you reach the top of the wall. The guards gathered below, staring and pointing. That must be the Analander, one cries. That's not me. Like, quickly, you drop onto the other side of the wall before they can draw bows. All right. The spell gives out just as you are clear of the wall. You land on thick grass, which cushions you somewhat from the drop. You're in the shallow of the walls of the outer yards, but you're inside of the city. You look around the field. Plants here are 3 times taller than any you've seen before, no doubt forced to abundancy by controlling magic. This place might feed the whole of the citadel. Hold on. All right, here we go. Why would we have to cast a spell here? Let's just move away from the wall. Wadding through the long wheat like this will be hard work. Darkness closes in. You need to rest, especially on an empty stomach. Let's go see the fallen tower real quick. You walk on through the long grass. Then something large slithers over your foot. Hopping back, you see a large snake disappear into the wheat. Attack. You slash at the snake, but only manage to scythe a few stalks. You lose sight of the beast as it slithers away. The sun disappears. You stride onwards through the wheat. The stalks nearby shiver, and then then the snake you saw earlier bursts up. You twist away as it rears up and goes for your neck, and your blade is out before it can disappear again. You track it with hawk eyes, but you have fought serpents larger than this one. Oh, dude, easy dub. The serpent's great coils are winding around your feet. In a moment, they will tighten and snap your ankles. You swing out wildly, hoping to chop it in two, as it curls back, lashing out with its tail. Its head tumbles backwards into the grass. The creature's eyes glitter and glow. Oh. Then the serpent is sliding across the grass towards you with lethal speed. You try a cut across its body, but it catches the blow with its hard tip tail. It bashes you with a flick of its tail, and its deadly teeth come for your eyes, catching a long, bloody gash down your face. You drop into a crouch, and the serpent tries to knock you over with its thick neck, but you duck. You escape mostly unscathed. You wait as the serpent shifts, exposing its belly, then you attack. Launching off your heels, you lunge for the beast's neck, but it recoils, hissing and spitting. It slides away, hissing. It snaps and bites the air between you. You fall back. The serpent tries to swipe you with its vicious tail, but you step quickly aside. You breathe a sigh of relief. It closes up its coils, shrinking like melted snow. You stay low. The serpent coils around you, hissing but not connecting. The serpent's eyes are aflame. An opening appears. You cleave the air with your sword. The great cloud of dust, the head of the serpent crashes to the ground, and the light in its eyes goes forever dark. Yippee! Stalks break and crack around you as you walk. The moon is high. All right, let's check the ruins. You pace on... Sorry. Hold on, I just got a text. All right. You pace on through the tall, swaying stalks. You are picking your way over low, scattered ruins. Wheat and grass stalks stick amongst the rocks. The walls that remain suggest a curved tower, perhaps a guard turret. You pick your way into the center of the ruined shape. Low walls form a rough circle. Through what remains rises no higher than head height, and the grass grows long inside. Built into one half wall is a rack of rusted weapons. Let's take a gander. Oh shit, oh shit. You examine the rack, but the weapons here are all rusted and chipped. Even if they were not in such poor condition, the workmanship marks them as inferior to your assassin's sword. Cheap iron blades. These must have been standard issue for whichever guards were stationed here. You would be hard-pressed to find such shoddily made weapons even at a rural market. How old are these? All right. Search in and around the grass. You wade deeper into the long grass, peering at the ground while searching. You step on the broken tip of a spear. It lances through your foot. The metal tip, along with a spurt of blood, pokes from the top of your shoe. You sit in the grass to yank it out. But the pain was perhaps a necessary price, however, as in your administrations you spy a trap door hidden in the grass. Yo. After several tugs, the rusted hinges give way and open the trap door. Damp earth fills your nostrils. There's a short ladder leading down. Let's go down. You climb down the ladder, your fingers pressing into the dirt as they grasp the rungs. You climb down into a cramped chamber, dug directly into the dirt. A small bed and table are pressed against the wall with no room to spare. The wood of the door frame is thoroughly rotten. The wood of the bed frame is thoroughly rotten, and the table is gutted with holes. Some papers and assorted junk are scattered across the table. Most of the papers are faded from damp and age. But even the intact ones are in a language which you do not recognize. The writing is full of loops and whirls, a twisting script that causes your head to swim as you try to puzzle it out. On one of the sheets, another hand has been annotating the text. Cramped, precise writing in far newer inks fills the margins. Comprised of living or animated rock, starlight does not provide power. A living animal is the template, but is not part of the construct itself. Without the context of the text, the notes are largely meaningless. This hovel is an odd place to find notes of a scholar. You return the paper to the table. You search the table. Most of its writing materials along with scraps of wood. But among the clutter, You find a handful of gold. The design on them is faded and unrecognizable. It is that of some sort of a lizard man. I'll lie on the bed. You lie on the bed, which immediately collapses under your weight. A cloud of rotten wood flings itself up into the air, and you choke and sputter on it as you stand. At least no one was around to see. I'm not going to burn the piled papers. All right. You climb gratefully back up the ladder into the chill mountain air. You leave the ruins behind. All right. You move onwards through the long grass. Then suddenly you stop. You've seen a prone form lying in the grass up ahead. The figure is a strange creature with long, flat-bladed arms, a little like the curious farmers you saw in the lower fields of Care. The figure is fast asleep, an empty wine skin by its side. Let's just move around him. Careful not to wake the sleeper, you continue through the grass. Somewhere to the north, you make out the shape of a stone pyre rising above the stalks. It might make a good place to sleep. You walk on to the field of wheat. Let's just sleep here, honestly. This seems like a safe place to rest, lost among the stalks, but as you settle down, ants begin to swarm over your legs, nibbling and biting. You jump up to your feet once more. You would do better to find some sort of shelter. The moon sets and more stars appear. Let's try the ruins. You stride onwards through the tall swaying stems. Okay, I've already read this. Sleep here. Okay, you curl up amongst the stones but cannot get comfortable. Perhaps there's a better spot you can find elsewhere in the field. Irritably, you get back up to your feet. Search the stones. Eventually, you come across something. A human arm bone underneath one large rock. Presumably, this unfortunate was standing below the wall when it fell. Look over the edge. You peer down over the edge of the cliff and are quickly overcome by an overwhelming compulsion to jump and fall. No. You step away, but with every step back you feel a giddiness as though you were about to trip and stumble. Why would I clamber down the mountainside? What? Move away. You take another step backwards. This time, you are sure something is wrong. It is as though your legs were attached. Wait, hold on. It is as though your legs were attached the drop by chains, and those chains were being slowly tightened, ratchet by ratchet, dragging you towards the edge. God fucking damn it. You come to your senses after about 10 minutes of climbing and find yourself clinging to bare rock by your fingertips and the toes of your boots. The crumbled wall seems endlessly far above you, and thankfully you cannot move your head enough to look down. Whatever force compelled you to come this way has lost grip on you for the moment, but no doubt it is waiting at the top once more. You're about to open your arms to gather starlight and cast a spell, hoping to levitate to the surface or at least protect your body with a force field, but of course, you cannot let go of the rock to begin casting. Let's keep climbing down. There's only one way to go. You climb further down the cliff face, no idea where you're going. You continue to climb until you're almost at the river. You... Sorry, let me take a sip of water. You can hear it rushing and splashing over rocks and stones as it hurtles and spreads through the valleys below. What are you doing here? What misstep has led you to this point? What of your quest? Suddenly, without warning, you are wrenched from the rock face by something gripping your shoulders. Huh? You twist your neck and look around, but can see nothing. To all appearances, you are now hovering midair. A gold-crest eagle? Surely so. As the panic recedes, you hear the flap of its wings. The eagles, then, are here, presumably to aid you, and, for a moment, in secret. This one must have come out of hiding to save your life. Yippee! You are high now. Mampang is far below. Thank you. You call out to the bird, but it makes no reply. The eagles cannot speak, only crow, and this one clearly prefers to stay silent. All right. Carried by the eagle. During the past day, you lost a considerable amount of stamina, gained some gold, entered the citadel of Mampang, searched the wheat fields, met Libra, the goddess of justice, and the long peace. The archmage is now aware of you. The eagle climbs a little, swooping around the walls of Mampang towards an area of many turrets. After a few minutes of flying, the bird begins to swoop down and eventually drops you in a quiet, abandoned corner of the citadel. It does not reveal itself, but flaps away into the air, all but silently. Still, at least you know they are waiting, if only to take you home once your mission is complete. You wave to the creature, hoping it escapes to its hiding spot without being detected. Then you look around to see where you've ended up. Okay. You are by the base of a stone tower with a curved archway at its base. What is this place? It looked like no part of Mampang you have yet encountered. The air itself is somehow different. There's a tension here. The air itself feels tightened, as though the world is stretched thin here. A taut drum skin pulled over too wide a frame. It feels as though the tiniest step might unleash a powerful rupture. You look up for the stars, but find nothing. The starlight seems to bend and divert before it can reach you, as though being funneled away. What is happening in this place? You can feel the danger alive in this place. You should escape while you still can. Suddenly, you feel hooked fingers catch your arm. You turn around to catch the glimpse of a hoary old beggar pulling at you. But then something happens and you lose sight of him. A moment later, the buildings of Mampang that you traveled so far to reach have disappeared. Right, it's the weird guy. Hold on. You stand in a humid climate. Tall plants lean down on all sides, and a thin, watery sunlight leaks through some kind of glass ceiling, choked with weeds. Where am I? You look around, startled. The beggar is still here, but no longer holding your arm. He stands taller and seems better fed. That's better, he declares. Now we can talk more freely. Who are you? My name is Throbin. The beggar bows most politely. You notice he wears a circlet of finger bones on his head. Some have called me a necromancer, but they only mean that death has never stopped my work. Greetings? He bows again. Where are we? This is a favorite little spot of mine, a forgotten corner of care. The lost gardens of Briar. Even the gardeners who work here can't remember the way in. It's on all the maps, but no one can find the entrance. My own little fortress. He reaches, rather tenderly, for a nearby plant and pulls off a graying leaf. Throbin smiles. Come, let's walk a little, shall we? He begins to saunter between the trees, and you follow. This place is hidden from the Archmage, you observe? Quite so, Throbin replies. The Archmage would chew a death sponge mushroom and then eat my brains if he had the chance. But best for us all if that doesn't happen. What have you done? Moved us elsewhere, Throbin replies, so we can talk. Throbin points at a nearby flower. Do you see this one? Purple thornweed. Only grows in one place, the slopes above my home village. Where's that? I grew up in the same village as the Archmage, you know. A small place called Kari Ama. Maybe you've heard of it. He sweeps away, his face hidden from view. This way now. He steps between two plants and disappears. You push your way between the plants and find the beggar waiting. Now, he is no beggar, but a tall, handsome man wearing a long cloak embroidered with runes of power. There you are, he booms. I was told to expect you. Told by who? A younger self, I think, he replies. Though it's not always easy to tell, he frowns. Please excuse any confusion. I use these gardens for conversations quite extensively, but I have to space them out. One cannot have things overlapping now and then. He smiles. I believe will be, talking about Mampang and your impending death. What do you mean, dude? I'm not gonna die. You most certainly are, he replies. Often. I shouldn't wonder. He points up. The dome is gone. It's now nighttime. Stars shine overhead. I like these gardens for one reason. Can you see what it is? The constellations. Exactly. He sighs with evident pleasure. Look up there, he declares, pointing. This is one of only 2 places in Care where the stars of the Zed spell can be seen. The other is by the North Gate, but that spot is rather too busy. What do you know of that spell? The mention of Zed makes you stop short. The secret magic, the most powerful knowledge unknown to all. What do you know of that spell, you demand? Zed, he intones, is the great discovery of necromancers. A spell powered by and fascinated by death. Some thought it prevented death, but it does not. Quite the opposite. The stars of Zed cause death of the most significant, fatal kind. What kind of death is that? True death. The absence. But the secret is too powerful to share openly. Please. He gestures at another path, leading between trees as wide as bears, that have fallen to form an arch. After you. You slip under the arch and arrive in a field of bright yellow and purple flowers, terrifically overgrown. Bramble chokes the edges of this path. The man does not follow. The beggar has abandoned you. It seems you must find the path back to Mampang yourself. You push forward through the towering flowers into an area of cracked blue paving and fronted shrubs in glass pots. To your relief, the beggar's here once more. He looks older than ever. Now, now you understand, he hisses. Now you see why you have to die. I think you've missed something. Possibly, the necromancer agrees. It's hard to keep these things in the right order when you are as cursed as I am. You are telling me about a spell. I most likely was, he agrees. The Zed spell is difficult to cast, you see, because you can't cast it at once. You have to cast it at 2 separate times. 2 times, but 1 casting. Got it? Like left and right hands clasped together. He demonstrates, linking thumbs and flapping his fingers like a butterfly. A small change can cause a large effect. The old man looks quite baffled. What's that got to do with anything? The point is, the time between castings disappears. He squashes his butterfly fingers into a single 2-handed fist. Where does the time go? The same place any of it goes, I expect. The beggar spits a tooth, then admires, then picks it up to admire. Valuable that, one of these days. Be valuable that one of these days. Sure, I'll take it. You reach down for it. Uncouth villain, he curses, batting your hand away. Now, we'd best be getting on. We don't want you coming back here when you finally die. Getting on? Mampang, of course. Throbin closes his dirt-smudged eyes and concentrates, and slowly the walls of Mampang return. There you are again, smiles the beggar, who is now back as he began. He lifts a crooked finger. Not a word. There are spies everywhere. One last thing to do. Draw your sword. You obediently draw your blade. Throbin beams with glee, and then, before you can stop him, he runs himself deep onto the blade. For the ghosts of the Backlands, I curse you with this, he whispers, and there's fury in his eyes. In the last moments, you see him hurl up his arms, creating some kind of incantation. A terrible force builds around his body, but then seems to only half explode. You are caught at the moment of detonation. The explosion dies away, its force curiously unspent, as though waiting. But you feel stronger for it. He's half-casted Zed for us. Okay. Okay. You look around, still disoriented. There's no sign of the beggar. The waters lap around the stones of the path on which you stand. Where could he have gone? I'm going to look at the nearby tower. You look over the nearby tower. It's squat and ugly, with a low, ugly, squalid archway leading inside. Let's move on. Let's go to the east path. You are crossing the stepping stones over over the dangerous waters once more. It must be morning by now. You have been awake all night and have become weaker for it. Over the wall you hear the sounds of the city, but they seem to be muffled by the air of this place. The path finally ends at the base of another tower. The sound of music floats quietly out, paced by the tramp of sodden dancing footsteps. Listen. The music through the doorway is rhythmically steady, perhaps a touch mournful. It seems to loop endlessly, on and on. The tower is squat and wide. It has clearly been long abandoned, but from inside comes the faintest sound. Music. Water laps on the stones of the path. The sun is beginning to lower and the air begins to cool. You cross the waters and push your way inside the crumbling tower. Without knowing what you might find, a long entrance hallway turns a sharp corner, widening gradually. A patch in the ceiling drips water. You hear the echo of music, soft and rhythmic. A long entrance hallway turns a sharp corner, widening gradually. A patch in the ceiling drips water. You hear the echo of music, soft and rhythmic. Hold on. All right, press on. Let me also heal, just so we have that. The hallway opens without a door into a large space, a ballroom. The gilded ceiling is collapsing in. The gilded ceiling is collapsing in places. The furnishings are long rotten, but still a melancholic tune is playing from somewhere inside the walls. And on the polished wooden floor, dancers turn and wheels in slow arcs. You hang back watching the dancers. Hold. You hang back watching the dancers. The dancers sway deftly, but their rocking movements cannot disguise what they are. A group of corpses moving with mechanical perfection around the room. Their faces are slack and rotten. They stare at nothing. Their skin is like parchment worn to the bone where they grip their partners still. Across the hall is another door. You step across the room, heading for the far door, but in the middle you find yourself distracted by the music, turning and turning about. The tune is simple yet compelling. The rhythm is quite hypnotic. You feel yourself driven to keep time. Your pace carries you back to the doorway back to the doorway you came in by, and there, thankfully, the sensation fades. The music is hypnotic, tantalizing. I'm going to watch the dance. You watch them waltz. Their movements are disturbing to see, rigid and poised on the downbeat, but sagging after each step. Backs droop and limbs go slack until the rhythm yanks them back up. If I can cast Mag, then I can try to continue. Mud. Okay. We could try to counterspell Jig, but I don't know what counterspells Jig. I don't think. Yeah, there is no counterspell. Can't resurrect dead either. Let's back away. You back away quickly from the haunted ballroom, alarmed by its circling occupants. You step back out onto the path and follow it a short way. The wind picks up as the evening draws on. It will be dark soon. The path splits here, with the shortest way leading up to an arched doorway in a nearby tower. The wind picks up a little spray from the water and splashes it onto your face, where it stings where it touches you. Look into the water. You lean over the path and look down into the water. It's black, reflectionless, as though infinitely deep. The sun is sinking outside. Soon it will be dark once more. You enter the next tower nervously. Once inside, you immediately break out into a smile. This tower might be gloomy, but it's certainly a relief after the ruin outside. You have a quick peek around this room, this way and that, and it is curiously dark. You pay special attention to the corners, hoping to find something interesting, a colorful spider maybe, or some nice juicy moss. You don't see anything, but after a while, start to feel a bit let down. The atmosphere of this place seems genuinely good for you. What a charming place. I'm full stamina. What? You look over the doors. There is one behind you and one in front. When you try to count them, you can't quite manage it. It's probably because turning to look means the other one is behind, so you can't see anymore. And you can hardly count something you can't see after all. Eventually, you decide that there's more than 2 doors here, but you can't quite be certain. Hold on. You open your arms to cast a spell, but end up falling backwards and collapsing into giggles. Such a shame there's no one here to enjoy this place with you. You drop onto all fours quite merrily. This is no kind of place to sleep, but it's a great place to cross your legs. You try I cannot speak. We're going to have to end soon. My God. You try crossing them one way, then the other, but neither is really quite comfortable. You are forced to stand up once more. Clearly there is something wrong with the floor. Leave. You head for the door, but get distracted by the way the view of the world outside moves left and right a little as you sway from side to side. You are soon standing on the spot and just swaying. Gorilla, help me. You close your eyes and attempt to offer a prayer, but end up singing a song from your childhood instead. 5 sight masters wearing spiky hats. The song brings a smile to your face and, it must be said, a tear to your eye. You pause where you stand to regard the cracks in the flagstones underfoot. You trace them this way and that. They form loops, branches, and then rejoin. It is, you realize after some time, almost as though the stones fitted together. After tracing a crack for several minutes, only to have it disappear underneath your boot, you look up once more. Why would you leave? This empty chamber is fascinating. You turn around on the spot a few times to get a full view, then fall over. You have another try for the far door, though you are, by now, turned around enough that you can't really be sure which door is which. Stepping out into the open, you feel a slight headache coming on, as though you drunk too much alcohol. You return to the path and walk a short distance. The path splits here. Every path seems weighed down with sadness and oppression. Which way now? Let's go into the main city. You follow the path above the water to a high but crumbling wall. This is the way back into Mampang proper. The sun is now in its lowest quarter of the sky. Look over the wall. You scramble up onto a block and peer over the wall. Beyond stretches an empty region of lapping water from which tall, isolated, gloomy towers rise. Strange noises reach you from across the wall. The path leads back towards the hubbub of the city. The sun has almost set, and the sky has turned a deep purple. It will be night soon. You continue along the road. Another night begins. You should try to find a place to sleep, especially on an empty stomach. You pass a side street, leading off into a maze of smaller streets and alleys. You skulk down a narrow street, lined by low warehouses. You catch the scent of grain as you pass one. The warehouse. Did we go into the warehouse? Yeah, let's go to the warehouse. You slip into a warehouse. Inside, plenty of empty space, some of it lined with straw. The interior is quiet and dark. You search around in the straw to see if anything has been left behind from the last time this place was stocked. In one corner, you find a black face mask with a stroke of luck. Sleep. Laying your pack down, you try to settle under your habit despite the hard floor. You've eaten nothing all day. You eat the smoked fish and feel much better for it. Then you get comfortable and rest. You seem guarded here, and you do not dream. Alright, I was cursed with the Zed spell. You pick yourself up and brush away the straw from your cloak. Peek outside. You peek through the doorway. The street outside seems quiet. You head for the door once more. That's bizarre. You skulk down a narrow street lined by low warehouses. You catch the scent of grain as you pass one. The sun breaks over the eastern wall. As you turn a slight corner, you spy 3 guards walking towards you, one dressed in the finery of captain. Distracted by conversation, they have yet to spot you. You turn, hunching to shield your profile. The whole fortress is on the lookout for you. The conversation of the guard dies as you turn. Odd, one murmurs. You, stop there. You feel, or your neck prickles as you feel the guard's eyes on you. You hear the hiss of a blade being drawn in a distinctive crackle. Me? You reply innocently. You're up to something, the guard snarls. You spy a cloth skull cap on her head. Get him! The captain raises her hands, opening them apart. You see electricity dancing between her palms. Fuck. Do we have a counter for zap? I don't know if we do. No, we do. We've got Zen. All right. What? No. Stop it! Okay, you weave the spell, but the medallion does nothing. Instead, the electricity in the captain's palm frazzles and disappears. A zap spell, then successfully countered by your enchantment. But the guards are already rushing towards you. You must escape. The warehouse door is just within reach. Boop. You dash into an open warehouse, guards following in hot pursuit. The interior is full of haphazardly piled crates. You head into the gloom, weaving between stacks. Hidden, you watch 3 guards stop at the threshold trying to catch sight of you. He must still be in here. They begin to creep along, probing the sacks with drawn blades. Their captain stands at the entrance, feet planted. Her skin shimmers in dim light. There is magic at work. Wait. You continue hiding, waiting for the moment to strike. The guards blunder through the warehouse, walking down corridors of crates. They penetrate deeper into the warehouse, leaving the captain alone at the threshold. While the way towards the exit is clear, you are not finished in the dark. You head back into the maze of crates, creeping up on one of the noisy, isolated guards. You turn a corner, spot one, his back turned to you. You club the guard across the head and wrap your arm around his neck. He struggles, feet slipping as he kicks out. He soon slumps down, unconscious but breathing. You lower him the ground and slip away. As you near the exit, you hear his companion cry out in alarm. You creep past the crates until you are a short distance away from the captain in the doorway. Her skin is still shimmering in the light. "Find anything?" she shouts. "He's dangerous. Watch out," the remaining guard responds. So she's probably using the shield spell. Walk. Maybe not, though. Let's see, Foff. No, not Foff. I think it is a walk. Walk or Mag. Could be Mag. You wait watching. The captain remains at her post, but she's definitely shimmering. The captain peeks into the gloom, then smiles as she spots you. "There you are," she murmurs. "I'm going to lure her away." You grab a hunk of wood, then toss it aside. Her head whips around you in the crash, but she stays firm. "You're not going to fool me that easily," she snarls. "Might as well come out and face me." Charge her. You charge the captain, and she readies her blade, but magic will not protect her from steel. The captain strides towards you. The captain's smirk never wavers as she cuts through the air. You raise your own sword for a brutal attack to knock her to the floor. She bleeds onto the stone. You keep up the pressure. You lunge, aiming for her heart. You catch her underneath her own raised blade. The captain struggles to hide the pain in her face. The captain steps back. You continue your assault. You land a kick at her knee, and she howls in pain. She thinks better of her own attack and defends instead. While bloodied and exhausted, the captain fights on. The captain shifts away quickly. All right, she's dead. You keep attack, you feign low, then cut her as she staggers. While you cannot catch her off guard, you can overwhelm the captain. Every strike weakens her until she eventually provides you with an opening. You thrust your blade through her neck and she falls. The remaining guard arrives, only to find you standing over the corpse of the captain. Without a word, he drops his weapon and flees. While he may be looking for reinforcements, you have time to catch your breath. Searching her pockets, you find a blimberry potion, which will come in handy, and you also realize that the uniform is not too badly damaged and about your size. Though you could wear it, you'd have to take off the monk's habit and leave it behind. Put it on. With great care, you strip the body and remove it and discard the monk's habit, which is too large to carry with you. You gather up the captain's uniform and put it on. You are now disguised as a captain. Pick up the sword. Leave. You step out into the alley once more. Broken buildings. You pick your way through broken buildings and through the wreckage of fallen homes. It seems the city once housed a lot more people than it does now. Perhaps its life is simply ebbing away. Across the ruins, you can make out the stalls and tents of a bustling market. The early morning sun makes the air glow. You emerge from the ruins of a small house onto the edge of the market. The market is busy with traders and stalls, a city in miniature. The market is not as large as those you encountered in Care, but it still bustles with life. Even in Mampang, people need to go about their day. There are a few large tents up, and some stone buildings too. There is a hawker loudly proclaiming about the mysteries and wonders that await in his tent. In one corner, a long line of creatures queue outside a low stone building. Okay, the stalls. Most of the stalls are mundane, roughly made household goods and some trinkets. Despite the number of shoppers, they are in fact very few goods. But as you wander the stands, you do spot a weapons dealer flaunting his wares and a bent-backed peddler with unusual items spread on a cloth. Let's look at the weapons dealer. You approach the weapons stall. This trader is extraordinarily thin. He might disappear if he turned sideways. Welcome, friend. The army has procured most of my goods, but I have a few items left to sell of my original stock. What do you have? I can see you're a seasoned one, so I won't go wasting your time with the lumps the common soldier gets stuck with. I have this broadsword, which I can let go for, say, 15 gold pieces. And the best swords in my possession is a cutlass for 600 gold pieces. Of course, at these prices, you are practically robbing me, but then again, so has everyone else in this place. Your prices are too expensive. They're the best you'll find in this fortress. I'm nearly destitute thanks to Nylok. I cannot go any lower. But 600 gold pieces? This is no ordinary cutlass, the seller rebukes. The edge is unbreakable. The weight is perfect. The blade cannot be dropped or slipped from the hand. It cannot miss. The blade will make you all but invincible. He pauses to wipe spit from his mouth. It's pretty good, see? Give me a better deal. Friend, this morning, a beastman was so upset about the price, he threatened me with the very sword I was trying to sell him. I suppose you can learn a lot about haggling in Mampang. You've seen enough, you nod at the trader. You're not from Mampang? There are safer trade routes, yes, I know, the peddler declares. But As a bold young man, I heard the Archmage was offering a fortune for weapons. The trader waves his hand vaguely. Outfitting a new army or something. I'm not so sure. Of course, once I got here, well, what happened? He glances at a passing guard and lowers his voice. That snake, Nylock, would only pay me half and left me stuck on the wrong side of the wall. But what could I do? If I tried to leave, some birdman would no doubt swoop down, and that would have been the end of it. At least I'm in a state to appreciate my poverty. But what can I do for you? Nylock? The Archmage's official merchant. She handles all trade from Mampang. Not us. He gestures to the crowds. But the fortress, the guard encampment around the tower, I suppose she's now chiefly interested in outfitting the army. An army? Oh, indeed. Though I couldn't tell you who they're supposed to be fighting. Everyone outside the walls is dead, or so they say. Now, are you going to buy something, or are we simply going to chatter like Cladamen's grandmother? Like Cladamen's grandmother. Farewell. His face droops. Farewell, then. Do come back. The peddler. The peddler smiles as you approach. He gestures across a motley collection of objects laid out on a blanket. There's chipped pottery, dull knives, and emptied picture frames. The man is not old, but a hard life has aged his looks. Junk, refuse, and memorabilia, he shouts, for the discerning customer. Why are you selling junk? He cackles, which ends in a tremendous coughing fit. Oh, you know, another person's treasure, right? But why call it junk? People will pay for it no matter what I say, if they truly want it. I see no reason to lie. Junk certainly covers it, right? Let's look at his stock. Scrutinizing his assortment of junk, you can see a few items that will be useful to you. Oh. All right, let's look at the gold-backed mirror. The peddler hands over the mirror. It may still smell of swamp, he warns. It's 48 gold pieces. It's too expensive. You place it on the rug. Some glue? Careful not to spill any of it. It's 24 gold pieces. You shake your head and put it back. A brass pendulum. A fine antique. You carefully lift the pendulum from its tray, used by the wizards of the expanse to power their golems. Only 48 gold pieces. That price you also cannot afford. You hand it back to the merchant. Do you buy as well? I have gems for sale. Gems? He shakes his head, laughing. No point in me buying gems. What would happen if I put them out on my rug here, do you think? Would I make my money back? I don't think so. Who might take them? Try Hummingbird, the weapons dealer. He's nuts. He waves at his wares again, his previous grin returning. You decide to take your leave. The peddler wishes you safe travels with a wink. Do you buy gemstones? Or you approach the weapon stall. Ah, welcome back, the trader declares. Do you buy gemstones, you ask? I was told you might. I might. May I see? Perhaps a trade in kind? Let's see the stones. You open your pack a little for him to see the gemstones piled in your bag. His eyes open wide. Very nice, he says. Not much market for trinkets in Mampang, of course. How much? How about this? He lifts the cutlass from the mat. It's really my finest blade. Strong, supple, perfection. Where did you get it? It washed up in the fountain of the merchant's yard, he replied. To my very great surprise, the fountains are fed by rivers. I suppose something must have sunk somewhere once upon a time, or someone dropped it there by accident. Huh. Interesting. Didn't he just try to sell it to us for 600 gold pieces? Hold on. I mean, we have 2+4 swords. How the fuck are you even able to, like, get 600 gold in this game, by the way? Like, surely that's just, like, a bogus thing that they just shoved out there? Unless, like, at the gambling houses, you could really make bank, but I doubt that. I'm not going to make no. Shake your head. That's not what I want. That's the best blade I have, he says, sadly. And I don't have enough gold on me to buy them outright. He shrugs. Sorry, friend. No deal. Farewell. Farewell, then. Do come back. Okay. Whatever. Whatever. You head away from the maze of stalls and shops. You could head in several directions from here. Is this a Grimalkin? It might be. What I've learned is that the edges of the city fucking suck and don't go there. North side, I suppose. This section is dominated by a wide road that leads upwards towards the inner towers. Guards flank the way, scowling at anyone who gets too close. Nearby, you also spy a pillory with a lone prisoner shackled in it. The bustling market is in full swing further north. The sun has reached its highest point now. Huh. We could go over here. This looks like another market. But let's check the pillory first. You walk over to the pillory. Behind it, a gallows looms, noose swaying in the breeze. You are into the middle part of the day, and yet the citadel is still cold. A prisoner is here, dressed in rags. The skin on his neck and wrists have been rubbed raw by the wood. He lifts his head just enough to scowl as you approach. He is brawny but thinned by the punishment. His shaggy hair is covered in filth, clumping together in place. Taunt or beat me all you will, he says. You will teach me no lesson that a week in and out of this bane-cursed pillory has not already taught me. Unless you wish to feed me, be off. He is surprisingly lucid for someone who has spent a week in the stocks. Deciding the poor creature's best left alone, you say nothing and walk away. He curses your back as you leave. You could head to the square or cut across the guarded road that leads uphill from here. I don't think we're ready for whatever's going to come up here, you know? You return to the east side of the bustling square. The buildings on the eastern edge are a little more ramshackle. An arch leads to another, smaller yard. An alley runs past it. An empty pillory sits to the north of here. The sun is beginning to lower and the air begins to cool. Let's look at the art. Let's look at the arch, yeah. You peer over the archway. A few merchants go this way and that into the building. Some kind of market, perhaps? Glancing down the alley, you see the distant touch of smoke, some kind of fire. You could cross the square or explore the fringes. The center. The sun disappears, heading towards the horizon. You stride out into the middle of the public square where Mampang's inhabitants go about their business. In the center is a huge statue of a faceless man holding a crown. Aloft, the Archmage. The statue seems unimaginably old, and yet the Archmage depicted here is definitely holding the crown of kings. Has he been planning his theft for such a long time then? Or is this prophecy a celebration of a destined day to come? Many people are simply passing through here, but several are browsing the market on the west side. You also spot guards to the north clustered around a road that leads upwards. Hit a how. Consulting the stars, you bind the magic. A steady voice enters your mind. You cannot walk the north road unnoticed, so give those eyes a reason to ignore you. It's a word delivered, your voice fades. There are guards patrolling here frequently. You will have to carefully blend in, especially with a citadel on alert, but your captain's uniform should help. I still want to do some exploring, but we'll save that for next stream. We've been going for like an hour, 3 hours and a half. So what we'll do is we'll pause here. We'll explore this half of the city, not going into here because there's no reason to. And then end of the game. So I'll see y'all then, gamers. Have a good night.